Falcons to make it 28-3. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25. Toss to White. He's in! What a comeback!
All right, welcome back to another episode of the 28-3 podcast. We're here getting ready to go over the Minnesota Vikings and headed back on the road for the sixth time this year, I believe, with a whole lot of question marks on their offense after they came back and beat the Falcons in pretty epic fashion with Joshua Dobbs. Max, how do you think this one plays out?
Well, so I think Josh Dobbs, he probably blew his load on this game. I mean, that was a hell of a performance, you know what I mean? No practice, not even knowing the cadence, didn't know anybody's names.
That was a pregnant pause after the word load, sir.
There you go. You like that, huh? But, no, I mean, let's be honest. You know, that's one of the most impressive performances you're going to see from a player who had been traded a couple of days before. Literally not one single practice with his new team and practicing the cadences with the center and all of that on the sideline.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What's the coach's name? Kevin O'Connell?
Yeah.
He was going over the reads on the sideline. I don't know if it was he was like, look, here. He's giving him 1, 2, 3 reads on the side. It was crazy.
So, like, Dobbs in a vacuum didn't make me feel particularly warm and fuzzy, especially given our defensive difficulties against mobile quarterbacks. And he's got a good arm. He's a rocket scientist, granted from University of Tennessee. No offense to Tennessee fans out there, but you know, he's a smart kid and he's athletic. And then seeing what he did on such short notice, just pulling it together, I'm like, we better.
Well, let me go ahead and say this and answer your question, how I feel about it. So I think he's a mobile guy, so he is going to give us some issues with his mobility. Justin Jefferson, it doesn't look like he's going to be playing this week, which is obviously a huge benefit for us, as he's shown to give Marshawn fits in the past. I think, and I've said this over the last couple of weeks, if we want to be taken seriously as a contender, as a division-leading team, we need to win this game. We have to win this game. The story of Joshua Dobbs is, you know, winning his first game with a new team is a fun story, but it's not something that we can continue to contribute to. We have to win this game.
Like, let that be nice, and then just let the storybook end.
He wasn't playing poorly with Arizona, though.
Dobbs is fine, man. I mean, he's not a scrub.
He's, you know, we have had this whole thing about the schedule. And I don't think people are wrong to say the schedule looks light, but the danger is when you start saying, oh, we're facing the rookie quarterback. Because depending on what situation they're in, depending on the level to which you decide to perform against said rookie quarterback as a defense, it won't matter if he's got no years or 10 years experience. I mean, we saw what Tyson Bagent did against us. I mean, we made some incredible plays to pick him off. Granted, maybe his decisions weren't the best, and maybe they were rookie decisions. But I mean, you have to put a guy like Dobbs ahead of a guy like Tyson Bagent. So
absolutely,
the defense has to get its shit together. Granted, they played well later in the game against the Bears, but I mean, against this Minnesota team, I mean, the only thing I'll say in terms of X's and O's that maybe is a silver lining, besides Dobbs being as talented as he is that, you know, Minnesota's had some running issues rushing the ball this year. You know, they don't feel great about Madison. They don't feel, you know, I don't even know who they're.
Cam Akers they traded for to try and help, but
he got hurt too.
He tore his Achilles, I believe.
This week
it was an Achilles injury.
I didn't see that. So,
if anything,
that's a second time.
If we can find a way to force Dobbs to be one-dimensional, please God keep contained on the scrambling. You know, that bodes well for us, especially, you know, he plays into our strengths at that point. That's the one silver lining I see when you compare what we went up against with the Bears versus this coming game with the opposing team's offense.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this though, we are going to have to worry about Jordan Addison. I know that Jefferson's probably not going to play, but Jordan Addison has been nothing short of fantastic.
Yeah, he's a real deal
this season.
He's a real deal.
Yeah.
I was playing against him in fantasy when he went crazy against.
I lost by a point that week because of him. I was up huge, and he
has 7 touchdowns and 534 yards already.
We had 3 in that one game. crazy.
Yeah, that game killed me too.
Yeah.
But this team's so I know we like to joke about the schedule and all that, and Max said these are must-win games. This is a very good team.
Yeah.
This team lost their first 3 games strictly by their own turnovers. They should have beat the Eagles. They should have beat Tampa. They should have beat the Chargers. They just had Kirk Cousins was in Cousins mode for a couple of those games. They were moving the ball up and down the field on all these teams and turning it over in terrible spots. They lost them all by less than one score, 3 points, 6 points, 4 points. Started 0-3, and since then they've gone 5-1. This team is much better than the record shows, and people need to understand that. Now, they did lose Cousins, who was having an incredible year. I think he was on pace for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns.
His stats, if he plays the whole year, were going to be
crazy.
astronomical.
So the question is, and to Corey, exactly what Corey said, they have difficulty running the ball. We need to make sure that's the case and make Dobbs throw for 300 yards on us. And contain him. Don't let him run. Make him beat us throwing the ball is going to be our best path. But this is a far better team than a 5-4 record. And it's the one that worried me the most in this little patch of games.
But playing in Minnesota, never fun for us.
Nope. We have a lot of bad memories there.
I
We have some bad memories here. One of my first playoff games, probably the year Corey was born, was the year
87?
Anthony Carter. Yeah, it's a joke, but I went to that playoff game and they beat us
45-3, right?
3, something like that. Beat us by
Yeah.
40 points. Anthony Carter going crazy.
I had been in this world for a whole 2 years before that, okay? All right?
That game, that's one of the all-time Saints miserable games, next to the Flipper Anderson game, probably for me as a kid. I hate him. So I hope we can get it together, and I think it's just making Josh Dobbs beat us with his arm, not his legs. If we let him do both, this is going to be a very tough game.
Be difficult, for sure.
Well, but no, you brought up a good point, though. Excuse me. This is a good team. Like, they are 5-4. They have the identical record that we have. They're just missing their best player and their quarterback. So under those circumstances, this is a game you have to win.
Yeah.
Because when you're missing your quarterback and your best player, my God, man, make them one-dimensional, like you guys said. Shut down the run. If we come out this week and we see a couple of big, pop plays where these guys are hitting 20-yard run, 25-yard run on that first drive, that's not going to be good.
It's going to be a long day.
That's what we can't allow.
We cannot do that.
Madison.
And it's a good enough, as much as I hate the goddamn skull chant, I think it's stupid.
It is stupid.
The crowd there can be a factor. And so if you allow those plays to keep happening, you keep the crowd in it, even if that drive with the chunk plays results in a field goal, not a touchdown, like the crowd's still going to be in it enough to make things annoying when you're on offense. It's just the fact of the NFL or any football. It's like if when crowd noise is a factor, you can't call audibles. You have a much more difficult time just running your offense, and we've had a pretty difficult time running our offense. Save for a few plays this past week, and the Colts game looked good, but overall we've had some difficulties just running the offense when there is no crowd noise.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though, I have more faith in the Saints on the road than I do at home. Right? No, seriously.
I mean, they seem to have played better on the road.
We have played better on the road. The Superdome is not a fearsome place to play anymore. Going off of our record over the last few years.
That's because all you assholes are negative all the time.
As negative as I might be on this show, I am not fucking negative when I'm in the Superdome.
They are 2-2, and they're 3-2 on the road. So
I'm not a fan who boos our own team. I get that people do it. I get why, but people were booing our offense in the Bears game when they were just trotting off the field at halftime because they were upset they weren't more aggressive. And it's like, you get the ball back. All right, let's just have a little bit of football IQ. It wasn't the end of the world, but people were like, just wanted to boo. They just wanted to get it out there. And yeah, I guess they don't have to deal with that kind of negativity on the road. But yeah, overall, their offenses seem to have
they've earned that negativity. If we're being honest,
they have. But
to be fair, Max is the most optimistic Saints fan I've ever met in my life. I've dealt with it for 45 years. Okay? He is the most optimistic. After the first drive, he's like, "This is fucking terrible." This week,
I sat with him the whole Bears game, and I wasn't actually. I'm an optimistic fan too. I've always been like, yeah, there's a chance. I'm like the kid from Angels in the Outfield. Hey, it could happen. It's like, but we were watching this defense just get gashed by Deontay Foreman against a 2-5 Bears team. We're just
Bagent, they just went down the field. It's like, what are we doing?
What are we looking at? But they have an opportunity here. And in ways, I'm glad we got the win against the Bears, and I'm also glad in terms of preparing for the Vikings. I'm glad that it wasn't our best showing against the Bears because it gives good coaching points. It gives the players something to build from, to say like, hey, you got the win, and yeah, hey, defense, you played, 5 turnovers, amazing. Like, great job going after the ball. At the end of the game, the pass rush, making Badgett uncomfortable towards the end of the game when the offense wasn't just, staying on the field or missing a field goal or whatever it was. Y'all picked up the slack and just, forced, kept the Bears from having that heartbreaking, game-tying drive. Like, the game-tying drive that we've seen so many times in the past did not happen.
They never even got to their own 40.
Right.
Let's call that game real quick.
And that's what I'm saying. That was a result of the defense. So I'm saying...
Yeah. If you look at the defensive performance as a whole and you forget the fact that the first quarter was so bad, it was a dominant defensive performance. 17 points, 5 turnovers, dominated the game at the end of the day. Terrible first quarter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
I think the original point.
So what I'm saying is that
but we can't do that week in and week out.
Agreed. Not against good teams.
Yeah.
The one thing that it sucked watching when the offense was like, hey, 1 first down, then a subsequent 3 and out, or the defense was getting gashed. At least there are tangible examples for both sides of the ball, and especially the specialists, to try to say, hey, we can see exactly what we did wrong. So now against the Vikings, a better opponent on the road, we know exactly what we have to correct and get better at. And we can do that while still coming off a win, still moving up in the standings. And this is going to be one of those games where, we haven't done it in a few weeks, thankfully, but we can't lose to ourselves. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot. So everything that Carr's been doing, like we talked about last episode, where he 4 interceptions so far this year, keep protecting that ball. Don't try to get over aggressive with it. Running backs, hold on to the ball. Zach Bond, don't pick off a pass because you will fumble. Shit like that. If we can just
don't pick off a pass.
Yeah, don't pick off a pass. Bat it down. If the ball's
that's a weird take.
I know that's a horrible take.
I know. If the ball's coming to Zach Bond, I just want to see him
catch Zach Bond. If you're listening, catch the fucking ball. Just
fall down.
Fall down. There you go.
I don't know. His instinct. He's going to start running around like a crazy man and fumble. I mean, it's as good of a not turnover.
So Zach Bond is the anti-Caden Ellis, we have learned.
Bat it down. Treat it like a Hail Mary, Zach Bond. If the ball's coming, bat it down.
Zach Bond, catch the ball, please.
I know. He should catch it. I get it. I know. But anyway, we have a chance to just keep doing what we're doing, not shoot ourselves in the foot, win the turnover battle. If we do that, we give ourselves a chance. So, I think this is a pretty critical point in the season too.
We have touched on that for the last couple of weeks. This is the critical juncture.
Just get 2 games above 500.
If we crush this few weeks, we're going to win the division.
Exactly.
We're going to win the division.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the optimism is going to build and build, and the vibes are going to get stronger and stronger.
So, Corey, to your point on the turnover thing and protecting the ball, the Saints are currently 2nd in the league in turnover ratio.
Yeah.
Takes 2 sides of the ball to do that. Defense turn it over, offense not turn it over. We forced 12 interceptions, which leads the league. 6 fumbles, 18 total turnovers. We only have 5 interceptions and 5 fumbles on the year.
Yeah, and we only had 7 interceptions as a defense all last season. So to have 12 at this point is a massive step up. This defense is
leading the league in turnovers. Roman was on before the season. What did he say? The difference between us and them, we turned it over.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? This is the 6th rated sixth rated yardage defense, 8th rated in points after this week, and they're leading the league in turnovers.
Yeah, I mean the turnovers are definitely reminiscent. I mean, maybe not as many pick sixes, but turnovers to this number is absolutely reminiscent of the 09 defense. Obviously, we don't have the same offense to complement it, but but at least like this Bears game, even when the offense didn't look fantastic, they did just enough to get the win. Okay. We are going to test out a little mailbag situation. Y'all want to get into that, or y'all have any more thoughts on the Vikings themselves?
Well, I just want to say one more thing about this week. We absolutely have to win because you're looking at the Falcons. They're playing the Cardinals, who are 1-8, and right now would have the first pick in the draft if the season were to end right now. So you got to figure the Falcons will probably pull it together and beat that team. The Bucks have the Titans.
That's a tough game.
That's
now.
a tough game.
Will Levis playing way better than Tannehill was.
He's giving them a lot more than Tannehill was. So that's a tougher game. But to me, honestly, the Bucks are done at this point. They don't worry me as much.
Yeah.
The Falcons are a better team.
Yeah, bailing on Baker? That's your guy. Come on.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if our schedule is easy, then your division is playing.
Yeah, the Falcons' schedule coming up is just as easy as ours. It's very, very weak.
You're playing, by definition, 7 common opponents.
Yeah, and the reality is the Falcons come out every week. They can run the ball. They've got some great talent at the skill position. The only thing that's been hurting them has been the lack of quarterback play.
Well, Bijan this week gave the game away, which was really fun to see.
Let other teams keep beating themselves. We don't beat ourselves.
He fumbled when I think they were going in for a field goal that would clinch it, and I don't know where they were on the field, but he fumbled and they went right down and scored. And Heineke threw a crucial pick too, so they definitely have quarterback problems. We have the best quarterback in the conference today.
Yeah,
that's reality. Like Max said, this is the stretch where.
It's put up or shut up time.
If you're going to be a double-digit win team, you beat the Vikings. If you are going to hope to scrape in at 9-8 and they're 8-9 in a bad division, then maybe you lose to the Vikings.
Yeah.
This is a big marker for us this year because Vikings Falcons. You win both those games,
you're set.
It's tough to catch us.
You're very tough.
Yeah. So just to reiterate what I've said the last couple of weeks, we need to go into the bye week at 6-4 for me to feel good about our chances for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
If we're 6-4 going into the bye, then we catch the Falcons. If you win that game and you're 7-4, man, you are sitting pretty in this division.
Yeah, and then it turns into
if you're 7-4, you're 3-3 from being 10-7.
Exactly. So at that point, you actually might be able to kind of look around and go, okay, well, maybe we do have a chance at that 1 seed.
Yeah, because the way the rest of the conference is playing.
Except the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles pretty much.
Yeah, the Eagles are steamrolling.
They're running away
Besides
now.
the Eagles, the way the rest of the conference is playing, I mean, the schedules are hard. The teams are up and down. So
no one scares you this year.
Right. You never know.
Yeah.
If you watch Eagles-Cowboys this weekend,
first.
you know that both those teams are beatable.
Yeah.
And if you watched it.
Yeah. And the thing is, look, it's game by game. I don't want to look. I'm not looking ahead. I literally am only looking at the Vikings game. We have to win this game. I'm not worried about anything else after that. Just win the game.
Be like Tulane, just go 1-0.
Yeah.
So it gets in. So I think of it as, what's the difference between a win when you look at what's our record with a win, what's our record with a loss. You lose, you're right back to 500. The roller coaster season continues. You win, you're obviously in a position to say when December comes around that, hey, we took care of business at this point. Now we just have to maintain our lead versus saying we kind of fucked around. And if we don't take care of our business, we're going to find out.
See, to me, the difference between being 6-4 going into the bye or 5-5 is the difference between being a Jim Haslett team or being a Sean Payton team.
Yeah,
because Haslett teams would always tease you.
A winning record,
you would sit there, they'd blow somebody out, and then they would promptly lose the next week when you thought they were going to win.
Even the 7-9,
and they would always hover around that 500 record and never truly go on that run. The Sean Payton teams would always go on a run somewhere around October, November, where they would reel off like 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. It may be, depending on the year, they would reel off that many wins in a row and go on a run and set themselves up for the rest of the year.
The Sean Payton playoff teams always had that win streak.
Right. So this is that point where we're going to be that inconsistent as fuck Jim Haslett style Saints team, or we can be that Sean Payton team that's going to go ahead and win the division and go in strong.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into our predictions and everything, I want to get to this first mailbag question we have, and it kind of dovetails from what we're talking about, like where are we going to be when all the chips are on the table at the end of the year. And so the question is, given we talked about our thoughts on Dennis Allen, Max and I are pretty clear about it. Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael regime, Nick has made his opinion known that it's like they don't look, they're kind of getting better. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's okay. But anyway, the mailbag question is, would you rather finish 9-8, which means at the end of the year, Dennis Allen is still your coach going into the next year, or would you rather the Saints finish 5-12 and then they completely clean house?
So you're saying 9-8, as in we definitely win the division with 9-8.
Yes, and so
that's a key. That's a key.
And the only way I can even answer the question, because I'll never root for the Saints to lose, is kind of like, hey, you're talking to yourself back in the first week of January. The thing put on your plate is either a 9-8 team that's won the division, or the thing that's put on your plate is a 5-12 team, and you clean house. The 9-8 team, you keep Dennis Allen. So that's kind of how I look at the question. What do y'all think? I think I know your answer, Nick.
Yeah, I think if you're one of these people who are hoping for 5-12, just go fuck yourself. Okay, we've won the division, I believe. I'll check it. I think it's 9 times in. Is this our 56th year?
57th.
57th year. 9 times.
We just turned 57. Maybe it was 56th year. But yeah.
56 or 57.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
15% of the time, roughly. If you're rooting for a draft pick or to get rid of a coach or whatever over a division title, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're guaranteeing me a division title, whatever. Give me the coach.
It's going to win the division, but
it probably
do you
will.
feel differently if it doesn't? Do you feel differently if it's a wild
Well,
card?
that's not the question.
It's not the question. I'm just going to.
No, we stick with the question.
Okay,
The question is the division title.
A division title for the Saints, again, I feel like this is a younger generation. The audacity to ask this question. Okay. If you lived through any part, and this is even before Max and I's time, right? If you lived through that, any 60, 65, 70-year-old person here lived through that era, they look at all these people like, are you ridiculous?
Well,
what are you thinking? We didn't win a playoff game for 35 years.
Yeah.
Win the division. Win the division. Okay, Dennis Allen. If he sucks next year, he'll be gone. Give me a division title.
Or if he's perfectly mediocre, he'll stay.
He'll probably stay because it's Gale and it's the Benson way. But either way, if he's terrible next year, he'll be gone, right?
Yeah.
Because he'll get this year 2. Next year, terrible. Year 3, his contract was 3 years, correct? Was it 3 or 4?
I'm not sure. I'll look it up and see.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere, but assuming he would if we went 5-12. Absolutely not. Especially with Loomis as your GM and his valuing of draft picks, you have no case.
4-year deal.
4-year deal. So, okay. So this year, we win the title. Next year, we're terrible. Worst case scenario, you have him one more year. Chances are they would, if it was just a 3-14 season,
then that's no question.
They let him go with 1 year left on the deal. That's not a huge hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
It's 9.
8, 9.
Yeah.
9 division titles in our history.
All right. So we obviously know his answer. Corey, you go.
Okay. You see, one thing I was going to say to respond to Nick before I give my answer was that I think the question itself, it's
pretty clear cut.
It's clear cut, but your answer to this question, whether you're an old Saints fan or a new Saints fan, completely hinges on your feelings. I think your feelings towards Dennis Allen, if strong enough, could completely sway your position. I think there's even older fans out there that are just so done with DA, so done with Pete Carmichael. There's fans out there that might say 9 division titles. Shit, we never even won a division title until 1991 or 90. It was 91 though. But so it's they're we're feeling good if it takes a year off from winning the division to get rid of this regime, which we know is not going anywhere. Then we'll pay that cost to get a new regime in, get some fresh blood in. Now, is that the most true Saints fan thing to do? Probably not.
It's also not a fair assessment. This is year 2 for him here. Yes, the Raiders was a catastrophe for him, no doubt about it. Guess what? The Browns was a catastrophe for Bill Belichick. These things happen all the time. I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying for you to definitively say he can't be good, you're guessing.
It's tough. Yeah.
You're guessing.
Well, he hasn't actually given us his answer yet. He's beating around the bush in true attorney fashion.
I have an answer. I just was.
Well, give us your answer, and then you can go into
It's what I thought of when Nick was talking, but
give us your answer and then dive into.
Yeah,
real quick. How many division titles without Drew Brees?
2.
2.
Yeah,
2. Okay.
Right. That's true. So, yeah, but okay, my answer is still. It's hard, but it's take the playoff win, not playoff win, but take the playoff appearance. The cost that I pay to get that division win.
What's super fun? The playoffs.
Yeah.
Super fun.
The price that I pay as a fan to get in the tournament and at least have the fun of being in the playoff, have a home playoff game is another year of Dennis Allen. I don't like Dennis Allen. I don't. Pete Carmichael might be coming around. There were some calls, last game that were meh. But overall, it's like to get that benefit, I can stomach. It'd be hard to stomach it if it's a shit year next year. But if we have a shit year next year, I'll say, well, we got to enjoy
going to the playoffs, having a home game. We all got to go to it.
But,
I'm fine if everyone hates him.
I still stand by that. Like, to me, I don't see Dennis Allen as that guy who's taken us to the title. If we want to get back, I think
you should be more worried if Derek Carr is that guy than if Dennis Allen is that guy.
What I'm saying go hand in hand, but the thing is, like, I can see the 5-12 answer for the people who are just so done, regardless of the level.
If you're that done after 1 year, God bless you. You've had a great life.
All right.
Okay.
Hold on. We've gotten both your answers.
Yes. 1 year? 1 year, you're done?
Let me chime in with this. Yeah, I'm in firm agreement with everything Nick said on this. We've only done it 9 times in our history. So give me the division title 8 days out of the week in this scenario. Because if that's fine. I want the fun and the excitement of going to a home playoff game and just being able to be a fan and say, you know what, there's a chance.
Any
there's
given
that
Sunday.
Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance moment when I walk into the Superdome and say, hey, it could happen.
That's the most fun.
That's the most
of the
fun.
whole season.
Yeah. So I will go on record. Corey, chill. I'll go on record and say that, I don't believe Dennis Allen is the coach to lead us to a Super Bowl. He's not the long-term answer. That being said, if you guarantee me a division title in a home playoff game, I'm taking that 8 days out of the week every time, because that's what being a fan is about, is being able to enjoy postseason moments, especially the ones at home. And this year hasn't gone the way we've wanted to from an offensive performance standpoint, but the reality is it's gone way better than we could have hoped from an injury standpoint. We went into last week's game and we had every single projected starter was starting in the game.
Or not starting because we didn't want them to start.
Exactly. Yeah. So that hasn't happened to a Saints team in forever. Yep. Think about the catastrophic...
And we had this talk. Remember, my point was you can't judge Dennis Allen on last year. If he has a healthy season this year, you can judge away. Yeah. You can say whatever you want about him.
Yeah. And look, the reality is give me the division title, give me the chance in the playoffs. Because sooner or later, he's going to work his way out of here. Whether it's starting 1-4 the following year or something like that, he'll be out of here at some point.
Does it scare you if he were to win? Let's say we get a really great... Someone squeaks in, right? Who would we play? We're going to be the
right now. It's the Seahawks.
Okay, you would think we'd be pretty good in that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get that. Someone upsets
Eagles. Yeah.
And we get it. And we win 2 playoff
games. Dude, you don't have to sell me on this. I'm just
saying, but would that at that point be like, oh, this is bad, we're going to an NFC championship game and there's no way we're firing this dude?
I mean,
I take it year by year at that point. Give me the success right now.
If they make an NFC championship game, he's finishing the contract regardless of next year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and by the way, that would be our 3rd ever. So
if that were getting to the conference championship game, it's not to say that like you're happy you're there, damn it. Like,
correct.
Whoever is the coach.
You hope you get 5 turnovers like last week. That's what you're hoping.
You might still not like Dennis Allen. You might still think like he's doing this, like the team's doing this despite him. Like, not to spite, but despite him being the coach, you can think whatever you want. But if you're at conference championship level, you got to just embrace that shit.
And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with anyone who has a gripe about Dennis Allen as a head coach or Pete Carmichael. I have no problem with that. But if they win the division, they deserve to get another chance next year. That's reality, because you don't know. You don't know.
Agree.
We all don't like it. He has no charisma. He has no personality. We get it. And the team last year, I think it was very difficult circumstances, and maybe I think they were a little better than people give them credit for being in all these one-score games that inevitably we lost more than we won. But if he were to have a healthy team this year and win the division, he deserves next year. And winning the division is not easy. I mean, we know that.
I've said it on previous episodes that even if he does win the division, if it's me, I still don't think moving on is off the table.
They're not moving
and
on.
I'm not. I know they're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it. But if it's me, and I'm not coming off of that just yet. I mean, if he strings together a few more, doesn't accept penalties when he should decline them, all that bullshit. At
least we don't have all the ridiculous challenges in timeout so far.
Yeah, that's true.
We've gotten that out of it.
Peyton would screw that up big time. So, it is. So we'll see.
So we all gave the correct answer, which is the important thing.
Yeah. I want us to win every year, and I think I've told Max this a million times about playing for the draft, playing for the future. The NFL is so unpredictable because of injuries, because of salary cap, all these limiting factors. You play to win every year.
Yeah.
When you can no longer have no chance of the playoffs, I'm fine with you packing it in.
Yeah.
But you never know until that point.
Yeah, exactly. I could never root for a team to lose. And like I said, I don't believe in tanking. I don't even think like the draft pick talk is way off the table. For me, it's purely about like you either want DA or you don't want DA. That's kind of how I see the question. So we all said our piece on that.
I want DA if he wins. That's what I want.
I just want to win.
Wins.
I just want to win. I don't give a fuck who.
If he doesn't win, I'm all on board with everybody who wants the 5 and 12. Look, if he can't win this division this year, I'm fine with us moving on.
There's a longer conversation to be had, which we're not going to do right now, but about how we win against a weak schedule. I think that definitely factors into it. But again, we don't have time for that.
This
right
might
now.
be the game that decides if we're going to go on to be because this is the midpoint of the season.
Yeah.
We're 9 games in. We're going to go into Atlanta. Like Max said, they're probably going to win. We're going to go in tied with Atlanta, or we're going to go in up a game. So this game's huge.
You have a chance to be in the driver's seat with, 6 games remaining?
Which is huge.
Yeah. So, anyway.
7 games.
Yeah, with 7.
After this, right. So,
but if you beat Atlanta, then yeah. Anyway,
right.
Okay, so
what you got?
Predictions for the Vikings game. Am I going first?
Yep.
Yep.
You're first this week.
All right. Okay. I'm going to say we improve in the areas that we're lacking this past week. We've done well on the road, so I'm going to say we win. That Vikings defense, though, I don't think we match up particularly well against them. So
what part?
Their
defensive line, I agree.
Defensive
Hunter's
line,
having a hell of a year.
But their safeties are good. They can.
Their corners can be had, though. I think
the corners can be had, but we're not going to have those bomb plays that we need because I think even Harrison Smith
will be covering
Shaheed. He doesn't have to run with them; he'll just be in the right spot, But maybe not. Maybe he's never seen someone like Shaheed before, so he'll get burned up. It's possible. I don't know. Like Max said, they're telling me there's a chance. So I'm going with more of a low scoring, close, 21-20. Saints win by 1.
Okay. Offensive
MVP.
Who's going to do it for us? 3 touchdowns. Who we got?
This one is going to be Michael Thomas.
I feel like you've gone to this well multiple times this year.
Well, I like that pick this week because of what happened last week.
Whether it was
this makes sense.
Rest or MT is not going to want to have a 0-catch game ever again.
What did Carmichael do this week after last week when we were bitching about Olave? Olave to open the game, right? Opened it up, let's get it to Olave, let's get this.
Carr's got to look his way because Mike also only had 1 target, and the Bears were
well, he had 2. One of them was a penalty that he drew a holding call. So
the Bears were bracketing him, they were doubling him.
So what are his stats going to be?
I think he's going to have not going double digits, but he's going to have a 9-catch game.
Whoa.
I think 3 of them are going to be first downs.
3?
And
not great. Out of 9?
The yardage, it's not going to blow the top off with the yardage, but call it 80, 85.
Okay.
And
you've got to have him score if he's MVP.
He squeezes in a touchdown.
All right. I can get behind that.
Defensive MVP is I think this is going to be a Granderson game. Hopefully catching Dobbs out on the run a couple times, taking advantage of their O-line, batting some balls. I'm gonna go with Granderson. He could be completely eliminated with the way Dobbs plays, but
you just completely backtracked.
I know, but I'm saying.
So what do you think? He gets a couple sacks or big tackle?
I'm still trying to figure out how he got to 18 points last week. But
Oh yeah, that was easy. It was
anyway. So what's
60-point conversion twice.
So sacks, turnover. What's he do that changed the game?
Give him 1 sack and at least 2 tackles for loss.
Okay.
Maybe even a pass defense batted ball.
All right, a PD. All right, Max, what you got?
I'm going to say Saints win. I'll say the Saints have... We're going to get 27 points. I think the Vikings... Let's go 27-24. Offensive MVP. You know what? This is the week, and we're getting the breadcrumbs that Carmichael and DA have been leaving. I think this is the week Olave goes off and has the game that they've been trying to get him to get. You know, even this week when I think he had, 5 catches for 46 yards, something like that.
I think it was 6 for 46 touchdown.
Yeah,
Something like
nothing crazy good. You know, that's more of a Michael Thomas stat line. I think with this one, he's going to break 100 yards and gets a touchdown. The other touchdown, I could see a defensive touchdown. You know, I'm going to go ahead and ride the Paulson Adebo train on this one. I think he strings together back-to-back good games. You know, he's making a push right now for postseason honors, whether it's Pro Bowl, All-Pro, whatever you want to call it.
He's in the Pro Bowl today.
He's in the Pro Bowl today. I think he continues his strong season, and this is going to be a push for All-Pro status. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'll go ahead and say Adebo has another interception this week. And you know what? I think he might have a pick 6. Dobbs comes back to earth, but I think Dobbs gives us a little bit of trouble, but I do think he comes back to earth at the end of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and say, what did I say? 27-24, Olave, Adebo.
I'm going to say we win 2 just because I think it means so much to the season. I'm going to say 23-20. Which means Groupie makes 3 field goals, which it might take 6 attempts to get there, but he's going to make 3. Offensive MVP. I don't know. I'm going to say, just to be different from Max, I think Shaheed gets free on one long one. So
Were you thinking Olave?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to say she gets one long one and then has 2 or 3 more catches. I'm going to call it like a 4 for 80 game with a long TD. And then there's something, I text Max during the game when we were struggling on the defensive line last week against the Bears, that I think the only way we can flip this pass rush is to bring Nabario down off the edge. And we did it in the fourth quarter, and he changed the game. Him and Malcolm Roach changed the game from a pressure standpoint. Roach was an animal. I don't know if that, when y'all were at the game, if y'all saw that, he came in, our defensive line changed. I don't know what happened.
I guess it was harder to see the defensive line substitutions from where we were, but you could definitely see the difference in the quality of play.
It was crazy, dude. He came in, and then Brzee came in. Brzee made big mistakes with Brzee, sorry.
That's Roman's fault. Roman definitely said Brzee.
No, he said Brzee. I checked my text messages with him. It's Brzee.
But I think
he did the dash.
He spelled it out, BRUH-Z.
But when he was on the pod, I could have sworn he said Brzee. But anyway.
I think he did, actually, but y'all go check us on that.
Episode 6.
If you're listening to episode 6, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Like and subscribe.
So you're saying you're saying DeMario.
I'm saying DeMario.
I like that pick.
I think they bring him down on third downs more often. Maybe move Cam inside, get Granderson coming off the edge, Cam coming inside. I would love to see it with Brzee, whatever the hell we're going to call him.
Call him Brian.
And him coming off the edge, because it changed the pressure in the fourth quarter last week. And I think that, that could be the difference maker on Dobbs. So I'm going to say DeMario gets 1 sack. He has double-digit tackles. Let's call it 11 tackles. And 3 for loss. And we shut down Dobbs' running game. He has less than 20 yards. We force him to throw. We get a couple turnovers. And we win a tight game, 23-20.
That's good. I love that DeMario prediction and the reasoning behind it. And you know what? I'm sticking with Adebo for reasons that I said, but I do like that pick. That's a good, solid prediction.
All right, well, there it is. Once again, 3 more wins across the board, 28-3.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm looking at that. I'm like, yep, that's another week where we all pick a win.
I've never picked a loss, and these guys have only picked 1 each, I believe.
When the rubber hits the road, it's just, for anybody out there listening.
Well, Corey's one behind us, right? You and I are tied? Because he was wrong that 1 week.
Yeah.
Y'all were both wrong that week, because I picked the only win that week.
I was also the only one who picked a loss one time.
Yeah, no, I'm one behind y'all.
He's one behind us. You and I are tied.
I was really close to going loss on this one, but I just can't.
Did you pick loss twice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Max. Okay, so Max picked a loss twice. Corey
The one
once.
time I
So
picked
you
loss.
and I are tied. Corey's one behind us.
The one time I picked loss was
undefeated.
Patriots, which was one of our biggest wins, of course.
The biggest.
Yeah.
The biggest win.
Was it bigger than? Yeah, like I
It was
said.
a shutout.
Oh yeah.
So we got to go ahead and put like a little leaderboard up here. But right
we
now,
should start.
No,
doing
we
it.
need to do that. We need to have
Anybody
it.
listening is good with graphics and whatnot.
No, we don't need that shit. We can just write it.
know.
We'll get it done, and we know that.
We should post it so that people know.
Yeah, we should keep a running tally going. So
Just want to go like just old school with do like a whiteboard and just
Yeah,
take a picture.
man.
Take a picture of the whiteboard.
We can do
I
that.
mean, they do it for the Jello Shot Challenge at the College World Series, so I guess we can do it
or
here.
we can do a graphic. Doesn't matter. But I think the important thing that we know is you're in last place.
Oh, I know that you will not miss an opportunity to tell me I am losing
Absolutely
to
will.
you in something.
When you
I'm
are
losing a
wrong at
bet.
any point, you will hear about it.
From
Same
you-
thing for
well-
Nick.
well,
but
but
he's tied
especially
right
from-
now.
What was the game y'all
From
both
you.
picked to lose? I can't remember.
Patriots.
You
Yeah.
picked us to lose, Pats?
You were going to, but you decided to be
Yeah,
different.
because
so,
I was.
And then
I was going
Max
to.
came around and picked the L to the Jags.
Yes.
And he was
Y'all
also
picked the
right in
wins.
that one about the heartbreaking fashion of it too. He didn't
Yeah.
say Foster was going to drop it, but he said it was going to be like kind of come down to the end last play.
Yeah.
Whew, that was rough. Hopefully we don't experience that again. And
Yeah.
and goddamn it, you know what? Something we didn't say this entire episode. We need a win in Minnesota. We need to stuff it back in that team's face. I'm just tired of Minnesota getting one on
I'm
us.
looking at the patch right
I-
now. You had Kirkwood as the MVP too.
I kind of did that just
you
to
should be
troll
kicked
Max.
off of the pod just for doing that.
That was
awful.
That was because we were coming off of the Bucks game. Everybody sucked, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw one out there just to be funny.
You don't even get to explain yourself on that. Let's just move on to the next thing.
I don't know what the next thing was after
Probably
Nick bringing up the
closing it
fact
out.
that I.
That's a mic drop right there, dude. Kirkwood, get the.
Can you
fuck
imagine
outta
if he
here.
hit though? Ha. Anyway, no, I just
That's one way to look at it.
we need to get one on the Vikings. We need
Yeah,
to
we
get
do.
one on the Vikings. We're overdue, and
We got it. We're winning it.
Fuck that team, man. Like just.
And then it all comes down to the following week. That's a big one for everybody with Atlanta, and we'll all be jacked for that one. Are we
As
at home or
always.
away for Atlanta first?
Away for the first
Away.
one.
So that's
It's in
good.
Atlanta.
I like that. Because the home game is the last game of the season, right?
Yep, the
Against
game
Atlanta.
that will probably get flexed to the Sunday night game.
Sunday after Thanksgiving and all
we
those,
win these next two. It might not be because it might already be in hand.
and all those
It'll be close somehow.
It's huge.
the people that get all their free corporate tickets to go to the Falcons game that all aren't from Atlanta, they're all going to be home for Thanksgiving holiday, all right? So that stadium's going to be like half full. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a reality in Atlanta. That city just
It's half full and they're winning.
that's true too. They get more people at their soccer games, but fuck the Falcons as always. But but before that, we need
Before
a
that,
win.
this is more important. We got to win this one.
Yeah.
Stay ahead by
It's
a
all
game
about
in the
Vikings
division.
this week. So.
no skull. Hashtag no skull.
We want to see no Justin Jefferson at all and beat the hell out of Josh Dobbs. So thank you for joining us again for the 28-3 podcast. Let's get another win this weekend.